Watch out now, incoming! Excuse me for dropping in like this, but I was just being topical, right? So, calling out them subs is kinda becoming an item in and of itself. 1145 subs, well holy hell man! Another 145 joining the elite guard against sillies. Welcome. So, what we have today? Someone claims having proof gravity is not what we're told. Well now, I guess we'll truly be enlightened because the wait is finally over. I bet there's some heavy material, pulling us right into the anti-gravity stories, which I'm sure is impossible to put down. Alright, I'll drop it.
This is called gravity.
Well, Neil has also dropped it. So I guess we're done here. I'll see you guys in the...
What is gravity?
I have no idea. Okay, next question.
Wow.
No, here's the difference.
Oh, wait a minute, Neil. Let's just appreciate that mind being blown. Wow.
Wow.
No, here,
Wow.
wow.
no, here,
Wow.
wow.
no, here's the
Wow.
difference. We can describe gravity. We can say what it does to other things.
Uh-huh.
We can measure it, predict with it.
Yeah, you tell her, Neil.
But when you start asking, like, what it is, I don't know.
Hello, everybody. You were listening to Feed Your
Wait,
Mind.
what? Who the hell is this guy? I thought this flat earther was this woman doing the interview, you know? Alright, so Feed Your Mind is the name, huh? Fine. So what's your story then, mister?
So gravity is a myth, a theory,
Oh, come on. You know I have to bet... God damn it.
and it's also a religion.
Ah, you son of a...
See, the heliocentric brainwashing agenda has convinced most of the world that gravity is actually a real thing. You see, most people forget that it's a theory.
Well... They don't actually forget. People tend to mix up theory with a scientific theory.
You have to actually remind them that most science-minded people actually take gravity as a fact.
Nope, it's the theory of gravitation. Gravity is merely the force causing two objects to be attracted to each other, something we can observe. Oh, for fuck's sake, this guy is definitely going to mix up all kinds of terms, words, and everything known to man. I'm sure.
And so hopefully this video will remind everyone that gravity is simply a theory.
Uh-huh. Scientific theory, right? Why do I even ask these questions?
You see, Isaac Newton allegedly had this apple fall on his head, and this came to some epic understanding that gravity is a thing.
Allegedly, as in just a story. Yeah. You know, I bet you're the kind of guy who actually think it happened, when in all probability it was just a prank, bro. Or, you know, maybe a cute little story for children, to visually see what gravity is and what it does.
To me, gravity is simply weight.
Yeah, I bet it is, being unaware of what weight actually is. Also, what was that with that falling woman just now?
You see, if an object is heavier than air, of course it's gonna fall.
Huh, well that's a rather strange thing to say. So what would you actually conclude if a leaf flies upwards going with an updraft? It's still suspended in air, and of course it's denser than air, yet somehow it's going up, only adding to the strangeness of what you're saying right now. And I'm just gonna ignore those, parachute people, who are also heavier than air, but gradually floating down. It's almost as if you have absolutely no clue what you're talking about. But do go on.
And then if you put helium in a balloon, helium is lighter than air, so it lifts up.
Well, hold on wait a minute, that's true. Although those are hot air balloons, not helium balloons.
And things like a feather and maybe a leaf or whatever, it's not super heavy, so it floats down very slowly.
And yet that's still a strange thing to say, it's heavier than air. Because it's happening because of density, air resistance and that nifty thing called gravity. Right? And you just claimed because it is heavier than air, it would fall down. So could you please explain to me why when you remove air from the equation, ergo a vacuum tube or chamber, a lead ball and a feather will accelerate at the exact same speed towards the ground. It also doesn't go up or sideways. And it doesn't have any medium as a guide to know which way to go. Strange, huh? And you wanna know another little tidbit? Do you know how a plant seed knows which way is up and down? The mere fact that a plant seed can be planted upside down or any other orientation, yet it still manages to find its way up, while it is completely buried underneath soil. So it doesn't actually have any way to know which way is up or down without gravity. It's actually one of those really strange proofs gravity is a thing. Now please, carry on with your story.
This is not rocket science here, people.
Well yeah, technically it's not, but gravity still has an influence on launching rockets, so... Maybe?
The only reason gravity was invented
Invented is not the word you're looking for.
was to describe this heliocentric solar system theory where planets are floating around in outer space.
Well, they aren't exactly floating around in space. They are in fact constantly falling into the sun's gravity well, at a speed where it orbits instead of actually falling towards the sun. Just like all lighter objects in space are orbiting heavier objects, i.e. moons going around planets, planets going around suns, and black holes basically being the big boss in town.
And spinning and everything synchronized at perfect timing.
Yeah, so perfect we actually had to come up with leap years, just to fix the time drift each year. Not to mention the wobbly axis of the Earth, or all kinds of elliptical orbits. And what about all those comets and meteorites slamming into planets and each other? There's nothing perfect about it. It looks more like an organized form of chaos.
So that nothing ever bumps into each other.
Well, what the hell was that? Huh. I do believe the dinosaurs want a word with you, mister. Yep, there goes their queen.
This is why science has created gravity. It's to explain such a theory. Things dropping and falling does not prove anything.
Well, except it proves that something is acting on... Well, shit, woman. And what the hell do you think you're doing? You've got the wrong guy here. He's the one who said it. Awesome animal, but a bit too pushy for my taste.
And if you notice, gravity is like the favorite response that you'll get from a heliocentric believer, because anything you say, they'll say gravity this, gravity that as an explanation.
So, let me get this straight. What you're basically saying is we're using it too much even though it is demonstrable and a perfect explanation for the things that happen. And somehow even going as far as to call that an argument? How is that even a thing? You silly dick flute. Oh, and feed your mind. When Rexy does find you, keep absolutely still, because T-Rex vision is based on movement. Or not. Who knows? Well, you're about to find out, I guess. And good luck with that. Please, let me know how that works out for you.
Science is supposed to be repeated, observable, experimental things that can be verified.
Oh, well, shit, man. Did you even watch your own introduction?
Wow.
No, here's the difference.
Wow.
We can describe gravity. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it.
So,
I haven't seen one argument yet that convinces me that you need to have gravity on a flat Earth.
it's a good thing scientific theories are not dependent on your approval now, isn't it? Not even mentioning, the universe likes to collapse into balls, so your flat plane wouldn't even work if gravity was a thing. So, you know...
There's nothing where this force has to be holding down everything upside down beneath the Earth.
You know, upside down is relative to your look. I'm really getting tired of this nonsensical nonsense, you nonsense-spewing piece of nonsense.
On a globe, you know, the oceans and people, everything just being perfectly held down where it needs to be so it doesn't fall from the bottom of the globe.
I'm not even gonna address that fucking horseshit. Instead, I'll show you a little image I made for an older video. Not making me do work and wait a minute.
Gravity is basically just something that science has came up with because they needed answers and they needed a way to explain things.
Or in other words, scientists discovered gravity, which explains certain things that are happening in reality regarding objects falling, and of course objects in space orbiting each other. Is that perhaps what you meant? He did not mean that. I know he did not mean that. But you know, I am an optimist, even though these people always prove they are incapable of even the most basic comprehension. Also, don't think I didn't notice that plane flying away from the planet.
So that was the missing piece of the puzzle that they said, well, let's just create this piece of the puzzle that we're missing.
So, what do we call this? A straw man of projection? I mean, it is you guys who go in with preconceived notions. They did not make up gravity. They discovered it. And I'm really getting sick and tired of this annoying projection of yours.
Because otherwise our theory will not make any logical sense at all.
You do realize gravity was discovered before coming up with the models based on gravity? It's like you're in opposite land. Are you in opposite land?
The solar system, heliocentrism, none of that is possible if you take away gravity.
Except we see it as possible in reality, and gravity is the perfect explanation for what we see in reality. Heck, we can even use it to predict certain things. But yeah, you are correct. None of what we observe is possible if we somehow take away gravity. How would we even do that though? It's not like we can alter reality to suit our needs. as you sillies do by shaping your reality on what you want it to be based on absolutely nothing and even in the face of overwhelming evidence.
So the Illuminati power structure came up with gravity.
So you... Not now, Illuminati. I'm kind of in the middle of something, and I think he's onto us. Just send it to my, accountant. He'll put it in the treasure chest. What do you mean, who am I talking to? No one? Who are you talking to? Yeah, that's right.
And that was the secret puzzle piece needed to complete the brainwashing, where you can explain a solar system and a globe ball where people are upside down. So
upside down in relation to what? That's the question you guys never answer. So I'm guessing you're an American of the United States of America, because the Americas are quite a bit bigger than you guys actually think it is, which is a whole other story. But you, sir, are upside down in relation to someone from Australia. And once again, you're getting things mixed up in the opposite way, Mr. Opposite Land Guy. What's the matter with you? Which is a completely useless question.
everybody in Australia and around that southern area of the globe.
And obviously he's gonna say something silly.
Argentina and South America, all those people are nearly upside down pretty much, and they're just being held up by magical gravity so that they don't fall from the ball.
Before I fly away, Simon Dan, could you please?
Such is the sheer ignorance of a flat earther, they have even taken up issues with what's up and what's down. North and south are not up and down, as is so often articulated by your common flat earther. The ones that dispute gravity, which is pretty much all of them, will suggest, whilst holding back a laugh, that people are walking upside down in Australia. They are suffering from that long-term condition known as Northern Hemisphere chauvinism.
And that is exactly their problem. Thanks, Dan. Mr. Simon Dan? Simon Dan? I don't know. Also, it does make me wonder what the hell is wrong with Australian flat earthers. Do they somehow have some kind of existential crisis, like thinking they are not real? Although it's not really fair to keep focusing on Australia, because there are flat earthers all around the southern hemisphere as well, so they might have the same problem. Which is weird, and sadly expected.
See, until Flat Earth started asking all these questions, there was no gravity waves. Gravity was limited to pseudoscience theory of relativity.
Could you just stop saying things? Well, I was gonna go a different way with this, but yeah, could you just stop saying things? I mean, gravitational waves were always there. We just discovered them using the LIGO lab. Opposite Land Guy. That's your name from now on. You know what? Just change your channel name to Opposite Land Guy. I mean...
But then after the Flat Earth movement comes out, all of a sudden you have gravity waves that were discovered, but only they can see them.
Yeah, yes, because they have the equipment to see it. And you could even see it using that equipment. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You call yourself Feed Your Mind, but you're starving your mind. What the actual fuck? Wow, this is just amazing.
So before I get out of here...
And wait just 1 minute here. The Flat Earth idea, or movement, or rather cult, has existed for quite some time. It hasn't just popped up because of the internet, you silly man. And the stuff we have found doesn't revolve around your special little group. You're not that important. In the scientific world, you might actually be the least important creatures, for lack of a better word.
Allow me to clarify what I mean when I say gravity is similar to a religion. It's because...
Oh, this'll be good, I'm sure.
You are saying that this gravity is doing things that only something with intelligence could do.
What? So objects attracted to each other is the result of intelligence? I don't even think you know what the word intelligence means. Why is this man so funny to me? I don't know, he's just really silly somehow.
You see, this gravity is smart enough to hold down the appropriate things at the appropriate times and applying the perfect pressure to the ocean.
See, this is the problem with you lot. You always go in with preconceived notions. I mean, you're now claiming gravity is smart in terms of knowing what and when to hold down things. So using that logic, let's take a tire for example. It somehow should know it has to roll instead of slide because it is round. This is so stupid, man.
At the bottom of a globe so that the water doesn't fall, but yet a bird can fly freely in the air.
Up and down is not the same as north and south. And you know, last I checked, a bird has wings, using air pressure to actually fly around.
For the gravity to be able to do what you're claiming it does, it would surely have to have intelligence.
Well, shit, dude. Gravity is nothing more than a force, which in this particular case is relatively uniform around the planet. Why do you think it requires intelligence? That entire idea is so asinine beyond belief.
I mean, if you really think people live upside down from you and sideways from you, that seems more science fiction than anything I've ever heard of.
Alright, let's get something straight here. You and your kind actually thinks that, because you simply don't understand. And instead of learning about it, you're finding all kinds of really strange magical and religious and, of course, conspiracies to explain it somehow, which doesn't actually explain it at all.
That's like an ant on a ball. I mean, a bug could crawl up the side of a basketball, but to think that humans are crawling up on the sides of a ball sounds pretty absurd to me.
Yes, because you don't understand that a ball doesn't have a gravitational field big enough to actually pull something towards it. A planet does. You simply don't understand, and don't understand you don't understand. Oh, look at the time. It's Dunning-Kruger o'clock already. I kinda have to go, you know, so if you have anything else to bullshit around... Wait a minute. It's horseshit.
And to think that people in China and Australia live upside down from me.
Well, using your logic, people in China actually live sideways from you. You can't even logic your own logic, which is not logic. My brain hurts. Stop it.
It's absurd to me as well, so...
You know what else is absurd? You and your completely unfounded ideas, based on a complete misunderstanding of absolutely everything.
When it comes down to it, gravity is a fairy tale.
Okay. Google, what does fairy tale mean?
A children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. A fairy story.
Uh-huh. Also, Google, could you tell me a joke? I'm having a bit of a headache here.
What do you get when you put a vest on an alligator?
I don't know.
An investigator.
Oh, God. Hey, Google, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Because no one in this world has ever seen water cling on to a ball.
Well, hold on there, buddy. You leave the Klingons out of this. I mean, have you tried going to the coastline? Huh?
Water always remains flat and level.
Well, of course you don't know. Flat and level are not the same.
That's why they call it sea level.
Yes, because the meaning of words is the same as proving things in science.
Check on my playlist, Proof Science.
How about no? And since the rest of your outro is all kinds of selling of stuff and newsletters, let's have a bit of fun, shall we? Oh, Rexy, guess who I found? Well now, that was Feed Your Mind. And the amusing thing is, he has Feed Your Mind 1, 2, 3, and he's now in 2 pieces. Welcome to the Order of the Sillies, you two. I hope you enjoy your stay. Hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. And please like, subscribe, tickle that bell, and I hope you also enjoyed your stay. Bye. I'm pretty sure he didn't understand the gravity of the situation. And I'm not even sorry.